Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Smash Dispatch. As always, I'm one of yours, Fidel. Join alongside me, Mr. Ultimate Shadow X. Hello.
Hello, hello.
How you
We are
doing?
back at it again.
We are back at it again. That's right. New year, new episodes coming through. How have you been? What you been up to lately? What's going on?
Good. I mean, a lot of exciting stuff coming out this month. So, we're looking forward to. We got Strikers for Persona 5,
yeah.
and then Bowser's Fury's pretty soon.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a really. I'm excited
fun.
for this month.
Yeah,
A lot
it's
of
gonna
good
be
stuff
fun.
coming out this month.
Yeah, a lot of fun stuff, and of course, we like a lot of fucking Sonic news going on. We'll probably do an episode on Sonic.
We talked about this, that once we figure out what's going on, it'd be interesting to think about like what they might do for Sonic and Smash. But
Yeah.
nobody knows what's going on. People are
Exactly.
leaving. People are staying. We don't know. So
We don't
have to
know.
wait until
It's all because of this
we
stupid
figure
show.
out what is going on right now.
Exactly. So yeah, but on today's episode of the Smash Dispatch, we are going to be celebrating Smash Bros. Brawl's anniversary. I believe, what is it? How old is it now? It's fucking. It's 10. No, it's
it came
12.
out
No, 13.
January 31st, 2008. So
that's 13
that
years.
would make it
13
how
years old.
I'm trying to think.
That's 13.
13?
That's crazy.
Wow.
13 years
That's
old.
crazy.
It's
Yeah.
insane, yeah.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Yeah. Sakurai posted about it. It was a screenshot of PD, and he's like, happy 13th anniversary to Brawl, and that's sort of what sort of spurred this episode, because we in the first episode we sort of talked about like our relation to all the Smash games, but we didn't really talk about the specific ones in depth.
Yeah, exactly. We wanted to do that where we would go like each game one by one and talk about them in depth and stuff like that. But yeah, no, it's like Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Like I think I would say like this was, because I grew up, I didn't play much 64. I've talked about this. I played a lot of Melee, but it felt like Brawl was really when like I got into Smash, like checking the website for new information, like checking out trailers and like having almost like that was almost the first time I got to a hype cycle with Smash, and that was like a really exciting time.
Well, yeah, because if you think about it, it was the same with me, because like I played Melee like just casually growing up as a kid. I loved it to death, but I didn't really think much of it. It was just like a game that was cool. It was like, oh, the Nintendo characters are here. But then with Brawl, I think because Brawl came at a point where internet access was more available. We were older, we were using the internet, and because of that, because of the Brawl Dojo, which we'll talk about, because of this is sort of the first time that YouTube was picking up, and you could watch stuff online.
Absolutely.
And so it was like that was sort of like the beginning of the hype cycle, like for us at least, like how we got wrapped into it, because it's like prior to that, it wasn't something that we actively thought about, and also it just wasn't something that was really done because of 2001 era. It was kind of like internet was not really that big at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was like it was there, but it was such a like small entity. But yeah, no, so being that, again, I don't know when exactly I checked the website for Smash. I don't know if I was there day one, but I remember literally being at my friend's house the first time, seeing that big, the first trailer, right, where you're seeing you see Meta Knight, you see Pit, you see Wario. It's crazy. Just you would never get that today, right? Like a fighting game, any kind of fighting game where the first trailer announces 6 to 7 newcomers alongside all the old cards. Crazy.
Yeah, that E3 trailer, I think is still one of the most legendary, because not only does it reveal so many characters and it sort of conveys how the art style and everything.
Yeah, the tone and everything.
What's crazy is that Snake was in that trailer. That's that was huge. That was a third-party guest character in a trailer
crazy.
Like that, and it's the first one. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I can't really think of any fighting game where the first trailer shows off the huge guest
huge
character,
one. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, no, it's we never had guest characters, and the idea that the first one would be fucking not even you would think again that the first guest character would be a Sonic, a Pac-Man, something innocent, but the fact that the first
actually,
was
it is pretty
Snake.
crazy, because Snake is so out of left field in terms of what was established in Smash, because he is from an M-rated game. He's from a more stealth sort of more serious series like, in terms of the tones, it has like some more serious tones, and so
Right.
it's like Snake was so unexpected, especially because traditionally, even though Metal Gear did start on NES, um, Metal Gear is the one that everyone thinks of, and that was on
Yeah,
PlayStation.
exactly. Yeah, everyone thinks of PlayStation when they think of Metal Gear. But yeah, no, to have that like that chill. Also, your camera's doing the thing. You're yeah, like having in that era, what's it called, having that era of like just where Snake you're associated with PlayStation, having been Smash is crazy. And then obviously like the Smash Dojo being just this like website that's constantly updating with like new trailers, new items, new stuff. And like I remember just like paying attention to it because I think it was weekly drops, right? I don't think it was daily, was it?
I'm
Pretty
trying to remember.
sure.
I mean, because I'm not someone who actively
Right.
checked the site like
Right.
constantly,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I like, again, I was like, I didn't even think about it
Mm,
that much back then. But I remember
that's
I
fair.
would check it every week, and there would be a few things.
Right.
I think if there were daily updates, it was just stuff like, here's a picture. It was very
Right.
similar, like
Yeah.
here's a
He's a
picture
picture
of
of
an
the day.
item,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, like, but it
Crazy.
is cool that the site. I mean, the site's still up, which is kind of
Yeah, it's
crazy to me
crazy.
that we
Yeah.
still have the site
I
up.
love that. I love that
Um,
so much.
yeah, but it's definitely really, really cool
Yeah.
that the site, that's sort of, where you can start following info. I mean, that's the first
Mhm.
time I kind of closely followed news about a game like that before, you
Yeah,
know?
I remember that specifically. And you know what's still like I think one of the like modern like fun facts about Brawl that's still crazy to this day is like Sakurai almost didn't work on this game, right? I think it was I think from what I heard is that he was not going to work on Brawl. They were going ahead without him. Like they revealed the game without him. I pretty like they announced the game without him, I'm pretty sure, right? And
Yeah,
then
so basically, when they were sort of announcing that we're going to be doing our next console, Iwata was like, we're going to have a Smash game
yeah.
on it, and it will have Wi-Fi play.
Yeah.
And Sakurai was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, and I think it was that. I think it was later. I think it was that E3. Like Iwata went to his hotel room and it was like, "Hey, we're gonna do this. Do you want in or not?" Right? Like they asked him, right? And then he said,
Yeah,
"Yeah, like he'll
basically,
do
yeah,
it."
basically, I think Iwata said like this game is going to happen without you or not,
Yeah.
but we'd like to have it with you. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Yeah, exactly. It was kind of like that. But yeah, no, it's like, and yeah, Brawl, I would say like, yeah, definitely Brawl would be one of the more important ones. Yeah, and it's like it's such an important part of my history. Like that was a game that I would like I spent so many hours playing the game. Like whether like obviously we'll talk about modes and stuff, but like I have countless. I mean I mean Brawl has Sonic. You know, Sonic is like the moment for me as a kid. Just I still we've talked about like losing my mind seeing that trailer because like it was that was like a boundary breaking moment of like again I think
Yeah.
we had like I think someone pointed out that we had the announcement of Mario and Sonic at the Olympics, but I don't know if it had released yet. So to see Sonic in like an official like mainline Nintendo thing like that was like what the fuck, and it was just crazy.
Yeah, and it was more of like, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, even though that was like, oh, it's the first time they collabed or were in the
Yeah.
same game together. That was more of like a gesture. It was more of like, hey, everyone's coming around together for
Yeah,
the
exactly,
Olympics.
exactly.
So what if we do a game that combines these two icons that
Yeah.
were rivals? But like in Smash, it was like sort of very different because it's like, okay, like this is like serious, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like this is actually entirely Sonic going against Nintendo icons, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean?
Exactly, and yeah, so no, like Brawl, like I mean, there's so many things we could talk about. Like you, like first of all, just let's talk about the gameplay because I think the gameplay is the aspect of Brawl that is the most divisive, right? I would say like this is a
It's the
game.
most divisive, and it's interesting to me because like I still personally think that Brawl is my favorite entry, but
Interesting.
not for the reasons that like I like Smash now. Like it's
Right,
funny 'cause
right.
back then, like obviously we weren't like competing. We would just
No.
play against our friends. We'd play
Yeah.
for fun. We'd play with items, and I think in terms of what Brawl offers there, and also what it offers in terms of the single player content, like
Right.
that's unmatched. I can't think of very many fighting games that have that
yeah, no,
amount
it's
of
insane.
single player content to keep you going back in, that gives you an adventure like that.
Absolutely.
Like there are, I think like maybe like Mortal Kombat 11 maybe has like all the unlockables
for sure.
in the crypt and all the story modes, but I think even then, if you compared that game to what Brawl has. Like, I think that you can put in way more time into getting everything in Brawl with the stickers and
Yeah,
trophies and
absolutely.
keys.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. Like,
No, it's great.
so I
Yeah.
think in terms of what Brawl offers first, like the single player gameplay, absolutely my favorite. Now that I look back at it, like playing it, it's like, yeah, it's very floaty, it's very slow, and I don't
Yeah.
enjoy it as much. But if you're playing it just for single player, I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, this is also the era where obviously again the Smash fighting game or not, whatever, like this is the era where Sakurai was still a little resilient to whether Smash was a fighting game or not, right? And this wasn't an era where we were getting balance patches or anything, so there was a lot of things where obviously had characters like Meta Knight or there's other characters in the game where like they were straight up like way better than other characters, and there was nothing they would do about it, right? Like these were how the characters were gonna be, and like they could never patch out. Like I feel like if Smash Bros. Brawl came out today, they would have patched out slipping due to like internet losing its mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think Brawl was sort of in that era of like Nintendo was sort of, I mean, and they still are, but they didn't want to like approach anything from a competitive angle. They were still very much like couch multiplayer fun that everyone can enjoy.
Yeah.
And I think with Sakurai specifically, I think he saw what happened with Melee, and he felt like this wasn't what I intended. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Because he wanted it to be like, he still had the competitive angle, but I didn't think he wanted to push that far in that direction.
Exactly.
So Brawl was his sort of pushback to that. And it's interesting, like if Brawl were to come out today, I think it would be viewed as like a very tone deaf game. But I think if you think about it back then, if you think of how it built on Melee with adventure mode and classic mode, you like I can see like now, like hell yeah, like no wonder that game was like so like holy shit when it came out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like what was I gonna say? Also, speaking of the Wi-Fi thing, at the end of the episode, we should mention the Nintendo internet changing thing, because that's probably important to Smash. But we'll talk about it after. But yeah, no, like for Brawl, I mean, obviously like a big part of this game, like you said, the single player, like because I think we had events, right? We had classic. We had all-star mode. We had a boss rush, and we had
target test was still
target test.
Different. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you had obviously subspace. Now we did an episode about the subspace, so we won't stick on it too much. But like again, just having like when you're a kid, there's nothing cooler than having like a Smash Bros campaign. Like is it like as an adult it's different, but as a kid, like I thought like subspace was the coolest thing ever. Where you're doing these stages.
And I did too. And I think the coolest part about it was it stuck to Smash's sort of core, because so much of that stuff you could do with a friend. Like you could do subspace with a friend. There were duo events. There was co-op events.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
like you could enjoy like so much of a single player just with someone else too, which I think which is crazy. I mean, back then, like I know I definitely like spent a lot of time doing like the co-op events with my cousins and stuff like that. So yeah, like in terms of what it has to offer single player, I honestly think it's unmatched, and I think that's what makes it my personal favorite to even just revisit, because a lot of the boss battles are so cool. And even if subspace, we did a subspace episode like you said, but in my general, just like even if you go back and you play it, and I don't think it holds up as well as you'd think. Like there's a lot of like, I think it goes on for too long. I think some levels are just really paced weirdly.
Yeah. You notice how odd it is.
The cutscenes are amazing. They're super fun and memorable, but like we all wish they talked or like interacted a bit more. But the fact that they were all there on screen together was enough for us back then.
Yeah. No, it's still like the fact that there was a time where we had a Smash Bros campaign with like cutscenes constantly throughout is still crazy to me. Like that's where the dream of the Smash Bros kind of universe came in. That's why like the CG trailers we get now are so beloved, and like because like it's the few moments we get to see the characters in Smash actually interacting, because again in a lot of these senses like it doesn't make sense for these characters to interact, so I understand the difficulty there, but they really did a good job with like match. Like it's funny all the setups they had with different characters, you know what I mean? But like it's I mean, like I remember with this game, like this is the type of game, I think I still have like old videos of this on like my old channel where like I did like 3 to 4 to 6 hour matches of 99 lives. Like I would do 99 live matches with my friends and it would just go on hours and hours and hours. But it was like, again, back then you have infinite time and you just feel like you're just playing and you're fucking around. And like I'll never forget that back then Sonic's Final Smash was so broken, my friends literally put a limit on how many times I could use it. I was like, what the fuck? But it's like, yeah, no, I mean, and also, yeah, I mean, Final Smashes, right? Like such a big part of Smash that we think of now that was introduced at that era. You know, special attacks, which like every fighting game at that point had.
Oh yeah, that's right. And you know that first E3 trailer had the Final Smashes too, where people were like, "Oh my god, this is crazy." And yeah, I think like Final Smashes, they were super fun. I think they were such a great idea. I mean, they had the idea of them since '64, and I just never got the time to do them. So it's super cool to see how it was realized. And I think a lot of the Brawl, because it was their first pass at it. They're still figuring stuff out. So a lot of the Brawl Final Smashes were really weird, like Luigi's negative zone. Like, what was
like,
that
I don't know
about
what that was,
exactly? Like, why would he not have the
really weird.
poltergust? You know what I mean? Like, it's just weird stuff like that. Like Rob had like the laser beam face, but that was like it. You know?
Yeah. No, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, if we look at if we look at the Smash, like the Brawl character roster, right, like the newcomers, right, because we had Mario, DK, Link, Samus. We had the introduction of Zero Suit Samus, which was really cool, because by that point, like, I guess by that point, Nintendo figured, look, people know Samus is a girl now. We might as well, and like, this is at the era where they would switch, right, like where you would, if you did your final Smash, you would switch. You could select
L
it.
or R or use the Final Smash.
Yeah, exactly. You could do that. We had obviously Zelda and Sheik also in one, which was also a cool switch up mechanic. We had Ice Climbers. No, Ice Climbers were already there. We had Pit. Now, Pit was a really funny one because, like, with Pit, it's like, Pit at the time, I know so many people, I had no fucking clue who Pit was. Like,
yeah, I didn't know who Pit was.
I didn't know. I was like, who the fuck is this? Like, no, I don't even think I knew Pit even like until, like, I feel like I forgot who Pit even, like, I didn't even know Pit was from a Nintendo game until like they announced Kid Icarus Uprising. You know what I mean? Like, I was so lost on it.
It's funny because like, I knew, it was the same way. Like, it was like, oh, Pit from Kid Icarus, and you look up Kid Icarus, it's like, okay, cool. And it sort of just leaves your mind.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when Uprising happened, it's like, oh yeah, Pit,
the guy from Smash. It's
right,
crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the most iconic thing about Pit back then was of course like, he was such a weird character because a lot of his moves felt like they were the same move. Like, he had like the angel spin, and then like he had like another version of like,
and he just like fucking spins.
Yeah.
He's like since forever. It's so funny, man. And bro, the thing I'll never forget about Brawl is the items. Some of them were broken and shit. Do you remember the fan where if you just spammed A on the fan with someone, they're just stuck on it forever. Like they can't leave it.
Also in Melee, and it's funny because like generally nowadays, like, I really don't like Smash with items because I feel like a lot of the items now are like just like they just kill you instantly. Right. And I'm not saying like items were completely balanced back in Brawl and Melee, but the items felt like they were fun, and it's like, oh well, now you're more dangerous, you have a weapon necessarily, but like it doesn't like kill you like instantly. Like, I really like playing Brawl with items. I pretty much only play Brawl with items because I felt like the items were actually like really fun and hectic as opposed to like, oh, you just die,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like, no, I mean, like, when we go into like what I really love about like Smash Bros. Like, yeah, like having like Lucas there, like, again, like adding these characters that like Pit and Lucas, where it's like, or Rob, where you're in the third entry. There's so many characters that are more popular that you could have picked from your roster, but they were like, no, let's fucking pick like the weird ones that like not many people like know. You know what I mean? Like, that are just part of Nintendo history.
I mean, they like still. I am. And Olimar. Like, I think Pikmin was pretty popular, but I think Olimar was still like a whoa. They really put Olimar in the game.
Olimar, yeah.
A lot of the Brawl newcomers were like, whether they be like, insanely groundbreaking with Snake or Sonic, or like Hop became like fan favorites like Lucas and Ike. You know what I mean? Like, for sure. Brawl newcomers were like pretty crazy. Now, of course, you got you had Diddy Kong, which was something that a lot of people wanted.
Yeah, of course.
which is so important. We finally got more Kirby reps.
Yeah, obviously we got 2 of them.
Meta Knight, which, I mean, I feel like we're still overdue for a new one, but it's great that both of them were there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they are like if you were to think of the trio of Kirby, like that's them, you know what I mean? It's cool that they're all there. It's cool that they added them both. And obviously, Meta Knight has like a hilarious history with competitive Smash where he could like just straight up like break the stage. He does like crazy damage.
Definitely the most broken character. In this fighting game period, one of the most broken characters.
Absolutely.
I really don't know if that was like, it's funny because in Smash 64, Kirby was one of the strongest, like probably the second strongest character in the game.
Right.
And Sakura's like, I don't want people to think I'm biased. And in Melee, Kirby is the absolute worst character.
Yeah.
And it's funny because then it's like, okay, well now in Brawl, it's like, guess who's back? It's Meta Knight. Guess who's Meta Knight, you know?
It's
funny.
It's very cool. Yeah, absolutely. And like fucking a Wolf. Like Wolf is what a cool pick to have Wolf in there. Like he's so badass.
I think by far was my favorite character.
Yeah, he's so cool.
I think Wolf was like, he wasn't a character that was even on my radar, but he was just cool.
Yeah, exactly.
He was just
He's a cool
character.
Dude.
Like, what does not love about this? And, like the fact that his gun has like a knife at the end.
Yeah.
I really liked his voice. Now his voice is different now.
Right.
I don't know who voiced him back in Brawl, but I really I'm more attached to the Brawl voice than I am his new voice.
Right, yeah. No, I remember even with Wolf, like I didn't know about him pre-release. So like I remember doing Subspace, and I remember you go into a particular level and you have the cutscene where like he's just like, I think like jumps in front of you from his ship or whatever. I'm like, that's so cool.
Subspace, him, Toon Link, and Jigglypuff.
Right.
I guess they really wanted to pull at the heartstrings that Jigglypuff wouldn't act for whatever reason.
Which is really funny,
Yeah, and then Toon Link was smart. I think Toon Link
was cool.
Even if he was not super different, I think it made sense to have him in over you.
Exactly, yeah. Like this, like obviously with Smash Ultimate, it's everyone is here, so they had to bring everyone back. But like, I guess their idea was that okay, let's just constantly update like who the new kind of Link is and keep obviously the original Link and update him. So I really like that idea, and yeah, I was a big Toon Link fan, so I was really happy with him. And yeah, I mean obviously like, yeah, well, like we said, there was Sonic and there was awesome. Rob's super weird. Pokemon Trainer, of course. Yeah,
like
of course.
Not just getting Pokemon Trainer, which was like probably one of the more unique characters. Lucario was super cool.
Lucario's
getting like, you know, the Pokemon content in general, like the Spear Pillar stage, absolutely one of my favorites. Yeah. Like it was so fun and hectic. Like Cresselia would come out random, like super rarely, and murder everyone. It was like a monster. And the boss fight is so iconic.
Right, yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, like you said, even bosses, like, yeah, like so I pretty, yeah, because I know Melee, we had the big ass Bowser, right? What else? We had Master and Crazy, but like I think like Brawl like was when we introduced like a shit ton of bosses. Like we had Duan, we had Porky, Gallium, Ridley, Rayquaza, Pity Piranha, Ancient Minister, Taboo, the Fighting Aloy team, which are really fucking weird, and then Master and Crazy Ant. So a lot of cool bosses in Brawl.
Yeah, and like, you know, we for Mario we got like Wario as well, and I think Wario was like a character that people had been wanting for a while. So it's like it's kind of crazy that Brawl delivered on characters people really wanted, characters people didn't expect, and really groundbreaking third-party characters. Absolutely. If you think about like the additions to Brawl, like it was pretty awesome to think about. Like
yeah.
You know, Rob also, like Rob is important to Nintendo. Would anybody have thought of Rob?
No
one. Rob is such a cool character because it's like, wow, this is an interesting way to represent Nintendo and gaming history in Smash. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's so cool. And yeah, like I know I was gonna say about what's his name? Fuck. No, wait, it was on tip of my tongue. I lost it. No, I lost it. It's fine. But no, it's just no. I was gonna say about Wario. Of like, it's so weird. Like with Wario, how they went with like, it's like, I feel like if they made Wario today, they wouldn't have done what they did. Cause like it was so weird to have a character like farting in Smash. Like it's still really weird. And you know,
like so I know, but it's like it's really funny because it's like. I think it's downplayed now, but like back then that was like the funny thing that Wario did.
Yeah. I mean, in the trailer, like his thing is fucking stomach inflating, that like a giant fart. Also, your camera's flickering again. But yeah, it's really awesome characters in Brawl. And yeah, like I have the wiki where there's like some cool trivia for it. So let's see. So Brawl Menu is designed to be very similar to the menu in Kirby Air Ride, including the challenges checklist, which you can super tell. Let's see. Not counting the virtual console and cameos in other games, Brawl was the only Wii appearance for Sheik, Toon Link, Fox, Falco, Wolf, Kevin Van Ness, Ice Climber, and Snake. No, but
you said the masterpiece, and now that I think about it,
that was so weird.
You could unlock the demos too to play
so weird.
Some of the games that the characters are from. Now that I remember, yeah, that was awesome. I just remembered that.
That was like such a weird idea, like those like masterpieces where you have like just weird demos of old games. What was it? It was like 10 minutes or like 30 minutes or something.
Yeah, they were like 10 minutes, but it was like cool because it was like still a way to get you to like
kind of understand
more about the character indirectly while promoting the virtual console. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Let's see, what else is there?
It's also like I was thinking because we briefly touched upon items. Obviously the most important item they added was the assist trophy because we got assist trophies.
You're right. That wasn't Melee. Oh my god, yeah. That was such a big deal because like we talk about a lot of how like like this character is it's like I think like assist trophy is still an honor. It's like it's still a way for your character to be represented. They're like I always thought that assist trophies were characters that were ideas for the game but could not be fully fleshed out. You know what I mean? And they just kind of dropped them in there to at least be like, you know what? We can at least like showcase a move from this character that people love. You know what I mean? What do you think?
Right. Yeah. Like it's a way to sort of bring in more characters that maybe you couldn't flesh out for a full move set, you know? Like, you have the Metroid, you have Excite Bike, Mr. Rossetti. Like, obviously those aren't like fighters, but they're still fun, beloved characters. So it's like a cool way to have them in the game and do more than just be a trophy,
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I totally... They're like one of my favorite things. I really love that. And I think, do we know like what were what characters were cut? I think Pichu was cut.
A lot of the like clones from Melee were cut. Like there was no Dr. Mario.
Oh, you're right.
No Pichu, no Roy. And that was back then where it's like you didn't know. I guess that was the first time they cut characters for Brawl.
Yeah, exactly.
Sort of like, now after Brawl, people are like, "Oh man, who's not gonna make it next time?"
Exactly. It was a scary time, but with Brawl, it's just like it's a really important game to Smash. It's the one of like, if I were to go back and play a Smash game, it would be Brawl. Just because, like you said, the challenges, the type of stuff that's in there, and it's more fascinating than going back. Because to me, like Melee feels a little too old, and then Smash Wii U's I don't want to touch that. So Brawl feels like the one you'd want to go back to. And like also there's I'm pretty sure. What there's something else about Brawl I want to hit on, which is like the stages, right? Like we had like so many really cool. I think we had the introduction of 31 new stages or something like that, or like it was a total.
We had like an absurd amount of stages because like basically all the stages were new, but I think they brought back like 10 Melee stages that you could unlock, which was also super cool because Melee brought back some of the 64 stages, so. We got some of the Melee stages back, and then they added like a ton of new ones. Like,
we have let's see, new stages. So, holy shit, we have Yoshi's Island, we have WarioWare Inc., we have Summit, Spear Pillar, Smashville, Skyworld, Shadow Moses Island, Rumble Falls, Port Town Aero Drive, Pokemon Stadium 2, Pirate Ship, PictoChat, Norfair, New Pork City, Mushroomy Kingdom, Mario Circuit, Mario Bros, Lilac Cruise, Luigi's Mansion, Hannenbau, Green Hill Zone, Frigate Orphan, Flat Zone 2, Final Destination, the new one, Distant Planet, Delfino Plaza, Castle Siege, Bridge of Eldin, Halberd, Battlefield, and 75 meters. That's crazy. That's
20. Yeah, if you don't count the new versions of Battlefield and Final Destination, because that is just the same stage with new paint. That's 28 new stages. That's nuts.
It's insane.
I think like in retrospect, and it's crazy how many of these stages are like Smashville, super important for competitive.
Right.
Castle Siege was played on
I remember that.
in the early days. Yoshi's Island, super important. So like there is a good combination of really great iconic stages.
Yeah.
And then you have some stages that are just awful, like Rumble Falls.
It's so bad.
75 meters is and Mario Bros are just awful. Like those
75 meters
I
is
don't
like
care.
a
Those are some
horrible
of the worst
stage.
stages they've ever put in this game.
No, like I wish with 75 meters, I wish it was just like the classic one where it's like the 4 rails instead of the one where it's like
the first thing. I think that was 25 meters.
Yeah,
like,
25
I wish
meters.
it was that one too.
Why this like one standing platform on 90? It's horrible. It's so bad.
It's so bad. And then like also you have a hand and bow, which is like what?
It's
what
crazy.
is hand and bow about? Like, that's such a weird choice. I don't like Electroplankton.
Absolutely.
I think that was like
Electroplankton is so weird.
I don't even know if you could buy Electroplankton. It was like a DS demo game, right?
It's no, dude. That was like that's I mean, like, it's like there's such fucking weird things about that shit. There's like such weird stuff. Like I don't like that's in the time, especially where like Brawl and stuff is like being really fucking weird. Now I don't mind it, but it's still really weird. But I don't. It's a different time, but like it's but that's why it's so interesting. Like it's a time where Sakurai is still experimenting and they're trying different things, and it's really weird, but in a cool way. And again, like you could tell. I mean, this again, once again, was gonna be Sakurai's last Smash, I think. So and just to see him as always, like I mean, this felt like this could have been his final one because he added a fuck ton of things in this. Yeah, I mean, like because like Smash Wii U feels like obviously it paved the way for modern Smash, and it almost added like the rest, like some of the more other iconic characters. But it's like it felt like if Brawl was also his last one, that could have been enough because like that was so much content, so many newcomers, so many things in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Brawl got delayed too. I mean, like the fact that they were working on this game till like the last possible second, and you know, obviously because of the amount of content, and the other reason being Sonic the Hedgehog, which we're still unfortunately has not been updated. But you could tell that Sonic was very, very rushed because Sega basically, the story is Sega basically they wanted Sonic for super long, and only at the last minute was Sega like, okay,
absolutely,
and you could tell because a lot of his moves like are just, you know, he has like basically 2 of the same move. You know what I mean? Like a lot of his moves are pretty like lackluster and they're not super flashy or anything, you know.
Also, really cute touch. I remember this that DDD in Smash Bros. Voiced by Sakurai, which I always found was a really cute touch. I love that stuff like that. It's always the little things like that are dope. Like again, the website was super dope. Also, like. Who's like I'm trying to think what's another fun fact about Brawl. I'm not Meta Knight and Bayonetta are the only two that I'm trying to look at like random facts. This we knew. I think that's like most of the stuff. I don't know if there's anything I'm missing that's like a fun. Oh, like what like do you have like a specific few memories from Brawl that like you really love looking back on?
Well, I definitely think like you know, that was when I was like sort of looking stuff up online. I definitely think like finding out Wolf was like a secret character in Subspace. That was crazy. I remember. Well, this was also the stage builder. I forgot about.
Oh yeah! Holy shit!
I remember there was an exploit you could do in the stage builder where you built like it was like a stage that was like conveyor belt. Down conveyor belt and then like a blocks here.
Absolutely.
And what you would do is
it's fucking weird.
Because you had to unlock the music with random CD drops.
Right.
You would pick like Ivysaur or anyone who had like a rapid jab and just sit there and hold A and just hit all the sandbags and get all the CDs. I remember
that's really funny.
So much time doing that. But also like this, it's actually funny because like the CDs in general, I remember like if we were playing online with friends. The CDs could spawn, and it was like a scramble. It'd be like, get the CD, get it before it disappears. You know what I mean?
It's crazy, yeah. And I think like what's it called? Obviously, Melee was super beloved, but like Brawl sent like Smash to like stardom because I think it sold over 10 million copies, which again, like back then for like a game was insane. You know, the idea of a game selling 10 million.
I mean, that was a combination of like it's the Wii and it's like the most loaded Smash ever. You know? What I mean?
Exactly. It's crazy.
I definitely think this is where Smash got like super mainstream, right?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
And Smash, like in Melee, it was sort of I would say it's like it was sort of big. You know, people would have heard about it. People remember it fondly. It was like in the conscious, but I think like Brawl was like
Mm.
Like, especially after that E3 trailer, I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit, you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah, no. Also, yeah, like I'm trying to look up some more facts. Yeah, like Sakurai said Hideo Kojima practically begged for Snake to be included in Melee, which did not happen because the game was too far in development. Which again, just like it's all these little things of like I wonder how many characters and things get into Smash because like a developer literally asked Sakurai a bunch, or like whether it's like it's such. I'd love to know all that little stuff. Like that's really cool to me.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much that we don't know behind
Yeah.
the scenes, even from just what we've heard from Sakurai or other people who who are involved with the game.
Yeah.
Because like there's a lot of characters that I think didn't make the cut. Because I think I think there was like there's like data files of like they were planning
Right.
on doing like a Ice Climbers like character with
Right.
Dixie and Diddy,
Oh,
and they
yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
get it to work. They only had Diddy.
It's crazy.
There was like some unused music that was I think Beware of Forest Mushrooms from Super Mario RPG
Right.
was like in the game's files, but obviously they couldn't get it
Yeah.
from Square.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
who knows what that could have meant, etc.
Right.
Yeah.
Also,
but I
yeah,
think
yeah.
like my fondest memories were definitely like doing the boss rush mode, the boss
Right,
battles on
right.
hard, like the intense difficulty, trying to get all the trophies. Man, getting the trophy stands
It's crazy.
and like trying to catch bosses or random subspace enemies was like I spent a ton of time on. There was that whole
crazy.
challenge board where like you could do missions to get
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, I remember that.
I spent a ton of time on Coin Launcher.
Coin Launcher's
Unironically,
fun, yeah.
Coin Launcher was super relaxing.
I like that shit. It was stupid, but I loved it.
And I think like the most important one, which is we'll sort of touch on something related to it later, was like the Wi-Fi. I think
Right, yeah.
I spent so much time with internet friends doing Wi-Fi Smash, and I think that's what made this game sort of very important because I made friendships and I talked
crazy.
to people over Skype when I would do these games. That's sort of way I started like really growing out on the internet. I sort of met really amazing people through Smash like Wi-Fi, and I spent time with them. And it's like I'm friends with like a lot of those people today.
Right,
Like
that's crazy.
13 years later,
That's crazy.
I'm still friends with some of those people.
awesome.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like Smash, like it brings people together. It's so special in that regard. And I was like, how do you feel about like the aesthetic of Brawl? Because Brawl obviously was like,
Yeah.
is this very like it's edgy, right? Like every character, like
Yeah,
the clothes look raggedy. Like everyone is so mad. Like they literally want to fucking end each other's lives.
And the renders are like lifeless, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. Yeah, they're really
there's
scary.
not a single like ounce of energy. It's it's funny because that's another reason I think like you go back on Brawl and it's like maybe it's not as good as you remember. Like I
Right.
personally still really enjoy it, but looking back at it now, like when that game came out, and I'm unironically saying this, when Brawl came out, when I played Brawl for the first time, I saw the texture on Peach's dress and Mario's overalls, and I was like, the graphics are insane. Graphics have heat.
Holy
This
shit, yeah.
game will never look
Yeah, exactly,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
unironically, I thought this game was like the most
Yeah.
incredible looking fucking game I'd seen at that
I thought it
point.
was so cool.
Like,
Yeah.
I think because like the detail, like it was like more edgy and more like grayscale.
Yeah,
Like there was like
yeah.
like the colors were washed out, like
Right.
basically. But I felt like the detail and like the character
detail was really
models
cool,
and
yeah.
like everything going on, I was like, whoa, this is crazy. This is
crazy, yeah.
insane. And now I look at it, I'm like, this is so fucking gross. Everyone looks gross, you know?
it's yeah,
Like,
it's cool.
I think it was
yeah.
definitely a response because like Twilight Princess was sort of if you those don't know, the story is like they showed Wind Waker, and Wind Waker, it's very aesthetic, it's very cartoony, and
Absolutely.
it looks great. It holds up super well. The cell shading is gorgeous.
Right.
Back then, people were like, "What is this cartoony ass children's game ass
exactly,
Zelda?
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want this. This is gross." Then
Yeah.
they did Twilight Princess, which is like the dark, edgy Zelda game, and everyone's like, "This is incredible. This is what we want." And it's I feel like they just carried that into Brawl.
Absolutely,
you
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, no, a lot of that, like, I mean, that's just in general, like late 2000 where like everything's like dark and brooding for some reason, but I still, yeah, I think for the time the aesthetic was really cool, and it's just, yeah, it's a super it's a super important game to me. I think it's super cool. I think it introduced a lot of things that we understand and love today in Smash. And no, I really love it. I think it's a very special, important game to the franchise. And I mean, yeah, 13 years, it's crazy. Like that's a lot of.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like there
11.
are definitely a lot of games I've played 13 years ago,
Yeah.
but I remember like almost everything about what I did in Brawl. Like it's it's just a game that like sticks with you so
Yeah,
hard
absolutely.
when you played it back then. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. No, it's super important. But yeah, no, shout out to you, Brawl. Happy anniversary. You are dope. And yeah, that's kind of it's mostly everything for Brawl. So yeah, I think that's mostly everything.
The only other thing we wanted to talk upon briefly was the Nintendo servers, because it is relevant to Smash. So basically it's been found, I guess, because Monster Hunter Rise is going to be using it. They sort of found that like Nintendo has updated their servers, which I guess like they've been using the same servers for like 18 years or something. Like,
it's so funny. Yeah, it was like an NEX like server something, which like it's an old big server build where like it's basically been running for like 20 years, and it was the funniest thing ever. Oh my god! And you found you had that tweet.
So it's important to note that like this isn't really much to do with like the games themselves. It's more of like how they connect to the server. And so like it is great that they are updating it, and hopefully more games can take advantage of it. But like does it affect Smash? Not particularly, because Smash is peer-to-peer, right? So your connection is entirely dependent on the other person's. But it is interesting to see maybe down the line a new Smash game might be able to utilize it. Like we'll have to see what really it entails.
Yeah, I wonder what it just means. Like I wonder if it like because sometimes it's not just about peer to peer. Sometimes it's just like connections just drop and stuff like that. So maybe like just in general things will get better in that regard. Obviously, like you can't like. The server thing isn't gonna solve like the stuff like why don't they have matchmaking or like invites. Like it's more like just on the connection stuff. Obviously at peer-to-peer no matter what, but like they could fix some of like the back end instability. So hopefully whatever this new server they're using that's starting with Monster and Rise will slowly be applied to other stuff. I don't know if they have to like patch it in, or because it's online it just like auto changes things, but I assume it'll get rolled out like at some point, but it's still really funny to see.
Yeah, like it's just like, but it's like super interesting to me because like it's funny because back in the day, like I think it's crazy that Nintendo pushed Wi-Fi with Brawl so hard, because if you really think about it, like they didn't really back in that era as well.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Really, like make Wi-Fi that big of a deal. Like I think Mario Kart Wii and Brawl, but other than that, like there wasn't really a big Wi-Fi push from Nintendo, and Nintendo has never really emphasized online gaming.
I think it was just because like at the time the PS3 was out and games were starting to have a lot of online, so Nintendo would just a lot of times just shoehorn in an online of like, let's just put an online just to like basically say we have it, but not like put any emphasis or real care on it. I think it was more like it's almost more like check a box and get it rolling for the future, as opposed to necessarily like stick. Because even what was does the DS have Wi-Fi? You could play a DS online, right?
Yeah, DS had a lot of Wi-Fi functionality.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot
so
of, like, Mario Kart DS was big, but also Pokemon trading, et cetera, et cetera. So I think their push for Wi-Fi was definitely more from like a casual angle than it was a competitive one. Obviously, it still was there, but it's funny because like Nintendo's never been like at the forefront of online, but they sort of were really pushing it hard back then.
Right, exactly. Yeah, no. So no, I mean, yeah, that's kind of it's kind of everything on that. So I don't think there's anything else to mention there. But yeah, so no, again. Shout out to Melee, Brawl. No, not Melee. Melee, you'll get your time one day. But of course, guys, thank you all so much for watching this week's episode of the Smash Dispatch. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on the down low though on Twitter. You can subscribe here for more. You can follow Ultima at UltimaShadowX. And yeah, we'll see you all next time. Also, I want to shout out to Twitter user Chaos Cola with a 0, because they made us like a nice little logo, like a Smash Dispatch.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
awesome.
that's like up in there. I'll show it to you after, but it looks really cool, so I'll have it up there. So thank you to you. I'll link you in the description. It's lit. So thank you all for watching. We'll see you all next week. Peace the fuck out.
Peace.